Hey YouTube, it's me, it's the indie comic book guy. I missed you. We're not going to talk about politics, kill all that noise. Today we're going to take you back to 1993 when Dayne Mcduffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and a guy named Derek Dingle, they formed Milestone Media, partnered with DC Comics. They released some amazing books. Among those were Static, Icon, Hardware, Blood Syndicate, Zombie, Shadow Cabinet, which was one of my personal favorites. They released some amazing books. They basically put the diversity in comics before diversity in comics was a thing to the known public. There was something missing. You had your Batmans, your Supermans, your Wonder Woman, but seeing black characters or Asian characters or Hispanic characters, it was more of a tokenism type thing. You would have that one ethnic character on a team, that one female character on a team, and I would like to think Milestone helped change that within the comic book universe. There were exceptions every now and then. They would have two women, but two black men on a super team? Whoa. Even today in 2020, in mainstream comics, you don't get that very often. Not very often. Especially when you look at DC Comics and Marvel. It's very rare that you see different ethnic groups. And as much as we love our X-Men, aside from Storm and Bishop, you're not getting that much diversity over there either. So, Milestone Media was born, and the reason we're talking about this today is Dennis Cowan. I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Anyway, he announced in the midst of this Black Lives Matter protest that Milestone Media is back. How many times have we had this announcement that Milestone Media was back over the course of the last, 20 years? It's been that long. And so the question is, if Milestone Media is back, do we care? And what I mean by that is the audience for those comics, we're old now. We're 40 and up. So when I say do we care is, of course, you're going to get the nostalgic aspect of it. Seeing these characters around is something I would love to see. But you have a new generation of comic book readers who have not been exposed to these characters, with the exception of maybe Static from the cartoon. But even that is dated. It's not in heavy rotation and reruns and things of that nature. There was never a toy line established with that. So my question is, after all these failed starts with Milestone 2.0 and the lawsuit with Dayne Mcduffie's widow after he passed in 2011, do people still care about these characters in large numbers? Now, looking at the history of Milestone Media, aside from when they stopped officially publishing comics, DC has tried numerous times to merge these characters into DC proper. There was the Milestone Forever event. There was attempts to add Static to the Teen Titans. Dayne Mcduffie even took over writing the Justice League for a brief time and included Icon and some of the other Milestone characters. So there was a lot of false starts with bringing Milestone Media back. A lot of false starts. And this lawsuit with Dayne Mcduffie's widow, that took longer than anyone cared for. And some people are saying that's what stopped the 2015 relaunch, 2017. That's done. And then there was the drama behind Milestone 2.0, where original founder Michael Davis, he felt away because he wasn't included in Milestone 2.0, which never produced any books, by the way. But he went on and basically just ranted because he felt the way. He wasn't included. There was rumors that he signed his portion of the rights away, but that's neither here nor there. It would have been nice to include him, but if you sign your rights away, there's no reason to include you. Even Dayne Mcduffie's widow was saying she wasn't included in the planned Milestone 2.0. She felt the way. She sued. Apparently, that's done. Lawsuit's over. We can get back to publishing comics. So, again, is there still an audience for these books? Now, when I say that, I'm not saying is there an audience for black characters. Because on the indie scene, you have people, publishers like Godhood Comics, Concrete Comics, Constant Hustle. If you haven't checked those publishers out, definitely check them out. They're doing some amazing things. Again, Godhood Comics, Concrete Comics, Constant Hustle Comics, they're doing some amazing things with characters of color, of women, amazing things. Diverse lineup of characters. And some would say they're doing a better job than Milestone did at the time. Now, do I want to see these characters back? Of course. I have very fond memories of reading Static, of reading Shadow Cabinet, reading Icon. But, again, I'm over 40 years old. We have a new generation of comic book readers. And my question is really to them. Will they care about these characters if we present them in their original forms? Because right now, the Milestone books aren't worth nothing. And what I mean by that is to the comic book collector in the sense of value. Many of these books can be found in the quarter bins or dollar bins. So from a collector standpoint, let's be honest, these collectors ain't buying black characters. Let's just be honest. Do I think the Milestone book should be in a quarter bin? No, of course not. You have some great stories featuring some great characters, but let's be honest, there is a bit of racism involved when you start talking about collecting comics from a collector standpoint. It is what it is. Do I think it's right? No. There's a lot of things in this industry that I do not feel is right. But when you're looking at this, and it's very frustrating to talk about because Icon, great character. Yes, it was the Superman archetype, but the book was really about the sidekick, Rocket. That's where the story is. And I wish people would mention her more in conversation than Rocket. Than Icon. Rocket was an amazing female character. She still is. Static, people say, oh, he's like a black version of Spider-Man. He has nothing in common with Spider-Man. He is his own character. Do I like the fact that he has lightning powers? No, that's the cop-out power for black characters. I know. But if you read his story, very interesting character. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Spider-Man. Nothing. Other than they were teenagers. Now, again, I'm over 40 years old. I grew up with these characters. I want to see them. But, again, with a new generation of comic book readers, you have to present them differently. You can't do the muddy coloring and call them bang babies anymore. And I never liked that term, bang babies. It reminded me of crack babies. Oh, you have a city full of black superpowered beings. We're just going to drop a bomb on them and call them bang babies. That didn't feel right. What's amazing is that people don't realize that the Inhumans, when Black Bolt dropped this bomb on the earth and created awakened the DNA in all these Inhumans, dormant Inhumans. It's the same thing that happened in Dakota. They stole that idea. Yeah, I noticed that, Marvel. I know what you did. So how can you present these characters to a new generation? Well, apparently with Cowan, he said that Jeff Johns, he's going to write part of it. They're going to, of course, bring back Static. They're going to have an anthology. And a couple other books. Nothing really to feel excited about. I know that they always say there's going to be some surprises thrown into the mix, but just releasing these books without a event tied to it, so to speak. Just releasing the books like, hey, here's Icon #1, here's a new Static #1. That's not going to get people excited enough to get these new fans, new potential fans in the stores to buy these books. So we'll see. We'll see.